aiming for them?
Everybody just shut up, I got this.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the times Georgie, the oldest Cooper sibling, cracked us up.
It's not like I'm gonna graduate valedictatorian.
You heard him.
Number 10, Georgie's van. Although still living under his parents' roof, Georgie often seeks independence, even if it conflicts with their wishes. One hilarious example is when he buys cable with his own hard-earned money but refuses to share it with his father.
That's the parental control lock.
So how do I take it off?
You don't. This is my cable that I bought with my money.
You gotta be kidding me.
Here's an idea. How about you go read a book?
However, is anything funnier than when Georgie buys a van that doesn't seem safe to stand near, let alone enter? Amazingly, he doesn't even win George over with the offer of chauffeuring Sheldon.
If I drive Sheldon to college, he can sleep back there.
So you saw that couch, and the first thought you had was, my brother can sleep on that.
Not my first thought.
George comes up with a creative punishment when Georgie refuses to return the vehicle, and believe us, he's thought of everything. Meanwhile, Dale's warnings go straight over his head too. Even a rat can't change Georgie's mind, but luckily, someone else can.
Got a mini fridge. I thought about what you said. I'm returning the van. Good night.
Number 9, Unplanned Parenthood scare. In season 4, Georgie ponders his future when his girlfriend Jana worries she might be pregnant.
Well, you don't look pregnant.
That's not how it works, Georgie.
I know. I'm just freaking out right now.
Let's just go to the drugstore.
Right.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Please don't say that.
During what feels like the longest 10 minutes of his life, he imagines his future if the test turns out positive. It's a hilarious montage that goes from marriage to labor in practically no time. However, the funniest part is when Georgie turns down the rock and roll life because, well, dad duty calls.
The guitar has hurt his hand and they want you to fill in.
Tell him I can't. I'm a dad now.
Okay. Of course, they're both relieved when it turns out to be a false alarm. He wouldn't want to miss his shot at joining Guns N' Roses now, would he? However, Georgie finds himself back in the hot seat when he tells Jana he was afraid they'd have to get married.
You can be afraid of things that are great.
Like what?
Roller coasters.
You're an idiot.
Roller coasters are a good answer.
Number 8, a trophy husband. To say that the first time Mandy meets the Coopers is intense would be a colossal understatement. It doesn't help that Georgie's biggest inputs to the conversation just makes things more awkward. He reminds his family that they didn't end up pregnant because they spent a lot of time eating.
I hope brisket's okay. Georgie wasn't too sure what kind of food you liked.
We didn't do a lot of eating when we were together.
He also boasts about being Mandy's trophy husband. Honestly, we don't know whether to laugh or shake some sense into him.
I'm having a baby. I don't need to marry another one.
I know I'm young now, but think about it. When you're a dried up old lady, I'll be your hot trophy husband.
Although it would be a while until they become betrothed, that doesn't stop them from bickering like an old married couple, much to Missy's delight. Like Missy, we're also entertained by this combative dynamic, although Georgie's definitely on a losing streak here.
And let's not forget, I only lied because you're hot.
Oh my God. We don't need to watch a movie about a talking baby. You're right here.
Number 7, Georgie finds his wheelhouse. In The Big Bang Theory, we learn that Sheldon's big bro runs a tire empire. Now, flashing back to young Sheldon, we get a glimpse of how he found his calling. When George brings his truck to the garage, he soon learns he could have gotten free auto repair advice back home. In fact, no one seems more impressed with Georgie's know-how than Georgie.
It could just be the thermostat not opening right.
That is correct. And how'd you know that?
I took auto repair last year.
And you actually paid attention?
I'm as surprised as you are.
Still, the best and most amusing moment is when George and Herschel are chatting away, only to spot Georgie getting up close and personal with a tire.
Talk to me. Tell me where it hurts.
Gotcha.
Perhaps his methods are unconventional, but they do the trick. Look, you don't become Dr. Tire for nothing.
He is not a doctor. There's only one doctor here, and it's me.
Number 6, getting arrested with Meemaw. At the end of season 5, Georgie and Connie get caught trying to smuggle cigarettes across the border. Unfortunately, while Georgie's good at business, he's not so great with common sense.
You see what I see? What? An open window.
You want to make a run for it?
You got a better plan?
Yes, you shutting up.
So while Connie's trying to get them out of trouble, Georgie doesn't quite get how serious the situation is, or that negotiating with law enforcement is inadvisable when you've been caught red-handed.
Plead guilty, pay a fine, and I never see your face again.
But we get the cigarettes back, right?
Connie ultimately doesn't help the situation either, and they end up spending the night behind bars. Well, at least it gives Georgie time to think of baby names.
If it was a boy, we name him Winston. You know, like the cigarettes? And if it's a girl, we could name her Virginia. Virginia Slims.
Okay. I think that's enough of you for now.
Unsurprisingly, he faces a frosty drive home with his father. No matter how much he tries, he can't convince George to see the bright side.
I hope I'm as good at that as you are.
Don't try to butter me up.
You saw that, huh?
Yeah, I saw it.
Boy, you are smart.
Number 5. Puberty has been kind to Georgie. Ah, puberty. That awkward phase where change is the only constant. But then there's Georgie, who seems to glide through it effortlessly.
Well, John, we look good.
Hey, not everyone can aspire to look like Bon Jovi. Indeed, when Georgie argues that his mom makes a bigger fuss over Sheldon than him, she reminds him that he's more robustly built than his brother, and she gets no argument from him.
But when Sheldon gets sick, you act like it's the end of the world.
Because he's a fragile little boy, and you're getting to be a big, strong man.
That's true. Puberty has done right by me.
A season earlier, while discussing Sheldon's next big steps with his sister and Meemaw, Georgie shares his own ambitions for the future. In their own way, they're very supportive of his aspirations.
Soon as I graduate high school, I'm gonna be a professional male model.
That is hilarious.
What? I'm good looking.
No, that you think you'll graduate high school.
The model thing was funny, too.
Well, he does become the face of his own company, so we guess dreams do come true. Number 4, schooling his dad on equality. As we saw earlier, George and Georgie share a lively father-son relationship. While it can sometimes be contentious, George often sees his eldest as his right-hand man. For instance, when Mary catches them in a lie involving Connie, Georgie tries to smart-mouth his way out of trouble. It does not work.
One could argue I was a hero in this story.
You went gambling, and you drove without a license, and you lied to my face.
Heroically.
Go.
Meanwhile, a season earlier, Georgie stirs up trouble by announcing that Sheldon has a girlfriend, much to Sheldon's annoyance. Hey, what are big brothers for?
Sheldon's got a girlfriend.
What? That's not true.
Oh, yes, it is. I seen him talking to her at school.
When George makes outdated comments about Sheldon's friend Libby, Georgie seizes the opportunity to playfully aggravate the situation. He might not be as bright as his brother, but his sense of humor is as sharp as a tack.
It just wasn't what I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
It's a big school. Why are you right here?
They've got some books in there about Martin Luther King. Maybe you should go read one.
Number 3, driving to the hospital. When George has a heart attack, Georgie refuses to stay at home and wait for any news. So he gathers his siblings, swipes Meemaw's keys, and proves why high school freshmen aren't supposed to get behind the wheel.
There's 2.
Really?
You're gonna hit it.
Which is the one Mom takes us to?
You're gonna hit it. Well, you're in trouble now.
Despite moving at a snail's pace, Georgie manages to crash into, well, everything. Perhaps distracted by the newfound knowledge that there's more than one Dairy Queen in town. This has got to be one of the funniest scenes featuring all 3 Cooper kids as they somehow work together while turning on each other simultaneously.
Why don't we ask somebody for directions?
Because we're children in a car, genius. Dang it!
Are you aiming for them?
Everybody just shut up. I got this.
Although Georgie clearly has no idea where he's going and seemingly cannot drive in a straight line, he amazingly gets them to the hospital in one piece.
Give me my damn keys.
Oh, yeah. Here.
Thank you. How did I beat you here?
We kept hitting garbage cans.
Oh, God.
Number 2. I said I was responsible, never said I was smart. Georgie tends to be, how shall we say this? Well, he ain't got the sense God gave a goose, but he owns it. Years after that car disaster, Georgie tries to convince his dad to let him get his permit, but doesn't exactly make a compelling case. Yet when George calls him out, Georgie makes up for his lack of smarts with heaps of honesty.
Let me get this straight. You're trying to prove to me that you're a responsible person by admitting you stole my truck.
I said I was responsible. Never said I was smart.
Also, when Missy asks for help with her elementary school homework, he tells her he can't help her, and with good reason. When he tries, it almost leaves him stumped.
Who drives pickup trucks?
Most people in the country.
Well, now it does sound like one.
I told you it's confusing.
I can't help you.
Then, when Georgie gets a job, Mary worries that his education might suffer. His response swiftly lowers her expectations.
Well, I think his education should come first.
Come on, Mom. It's not like I'm gonna graduate valedictorian.
You heard him.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. E.T. logic. And here we thought it stood for extraterrestrial. Thanks for clearing that up, Georgie.
You know that movie E.T.? The kid who finds him, his name is Elliot, which starts with an E and ends with a T. Coincidence? I don't think so.
You're gonna live with us forever, aren't you?
Bonding with Pastor Jeff. An evening with Georgie heals the brokenhearted. Apparently.
She also says she only wants to date nice guys. Does that mean she wants to date me?
I bet she doesn't.
No, she does not. Doesn't make any sense.
Nothing they do makes any sense.
I know.
At least you're not crying anymore.
Devil's got something to do with it.
Schroeders Cat. Georgie asks the most important question of them all.
So the cat's name is Schrodinger?
No.
Well, what's its name?
Its name doesn't matter.
It does if the cat was dead. Otherwise, what are you gonna put on his tombstone?
Dinner with Tam. Yeah, something tells us Tam and Rambo led very different lives.
Very poor, and very often didn't have much to eat. Then, when he was released,
What'd they teach him at the re-education camp?
how to be a communist.
Cool, like in Rambo.
Proof there's a God. Who says Georgie isn't a man of faith?
Do you ever wonder if it's all made up?
Look, this is Texas. We like football, we like God. And beef. Beef's up there too.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. What's Nixon got to do with it? After a fight with George, Mary takes the twins to stay at her mother's. Georgie decides to stay behind since he's waiting for a phone call from a girl.
Hello, Georgie speaking.
Did you answer the phone? Do you feel stupid?
Who was it?
Nobody.
A comical bonding session unfolds between father and son as they tackle chores and have some very entertaining chats. In one particularly amusing moment, Georgie explains why he prefers the bachelor life.
Well, you know the buffet at Golden Corral where there's all kinds of choices and you can have as much as you want?
Yeah?
It'll be like that, only with hot girls.
Georgie, I'll bet you $1,000 you're married before you're 25.
Sheldon tells us he never paid up. Anyway, perhaps the funniest moment is when Georgie greets his father the morning after the fight and George is not in the mood.
Mom usually makes us eggs and toast and the occasional meat.
Well, Mom isn't here, is she?
Whoa, somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And you had a choice because you had the whole bed.
When Georgie suggests his father should take the first step to make amends, George stubbornly refuses. After all, what would President Nixon say?
Because if I do, it sets a bad precedent.
What's Nixon got to do with it?
What?
You said bad president. Like Nixon. You know, this guy.
Which Georgie moment made you laugh out loud? Let us know in the comments.
Oh man, I'd give anything to be a rodeo clown. They make people happy and they see the rodeo for free.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.